Okay, Snapchat, today I'm going to talk about what's wrong with the mobile app ecosystem and why it's screwing you as an entrepreneur. Here's a dirty little secret they don't want you to know. VCs don't fund mobile app companies anymore. The reason is it's impossible to get distribution through either the iPhone App Store or Google Play, and I'm going to talk about alternate strategies. I wrote a blog post called Web Second Mobile First. My goal was to emphasize just how much distribution comes from non-app store distribution. A very familiar narrative I hear all the time is, yes, we launched our app, we got initial downloads, but we've really struggled to get people to continue to open our app. An example I would give you is a portfolio company called VidMe. They get hundreds of millions of views through the web and very small fraction of that through an app. We do it in part through having an embedded player that we install in people's websites, but we also crush it on Reddit and other platforms that are juicy for download. It's not that I don't recognize the value if you can get an app installed that people use all the time, but in today's world they have hundreds of apps and they only have 4 or 5 they actually open frequently. What they don't tell you is the game is rigged. It's really hard in the App Store. It's controlled by people who have a lot of money and who can pay for distribution. Unless you can pay, you're going to lose. They don't want you to have success in the App Store. Key is to find alternate distribution. I'm seeing a lot of success, for example, in business apps going through Slack as an example to get customers. I have another portfolio company called MeToo. We have a lot of people with our app called We Are MeToo, but we get infinitely more through Facebook. You got to be where the fish are. That's MITU if you want to check it out. We Are MITU. On Facebook, it's for Latinos and it's great. You can't be app only. If you have an app that you can monetize, sure, you can pay to distribute it via Facebook or Twitter. You can have it paid in the App Store. If it's freemium, it's hard. Now I want to tell you what's really fucked up. What's really fucked up is the duopoly called Apple and Google, in particular Apple, and how much control they place over distribution. They have portfolio companies waiting for individual testers to review stuff, and they're basically like a single point of failure who can just tell you no for no reason. Apple is bad for the internet, it's bad for openness, and it's bad for the friction that it places in the mobile economy. When the App Store was started, it was great because it broke the hegemony that the mobile operators had over end users, but now it's become just as bad. It's simply impossible. I love the success of WhatsApp and Snapchat and other platforms that are going to break the hegemony, the control that Apple's trying to have over the system. I wrote a blog post years ago called App is Crap, where I argued that the cost placed on developers was going to be too high in the long run to have the app ecosystem on Apple. I think I was right. So in summary, if you have a business, you need to think about distribution. The App Store is only one distribution point. Think Facebook, think Imgur, think Reddit, think Slack, think other. Whatever you app fanboys think, and I'm a big Apple product user, Google is way more open in the Google Play Store. It's a much freer environment. And I simply won't talk openly about the kind of bullying that Apple does if they decide they don't want you to exist or if they want to buy you. It's pretty much like Chinese censorship. Mobile is a use case. It's here to stay. It's how people want to use computing. But be open thinking about how much is app versus how much is mobile web and what other distribution sources. By the way, if you're a business company, you can also distribute via HubSpot or Salesforce.com. There's a lot of other platforms, even if you are an app.